Hey guys, it's Kusi. Dragonflight finally came to an end, and after giving us 20 different Drake models to blast through, the WoW is just around the corner. And while we're all eagerly awaiting the day of the launch, the currently live pre-patch will give us all the time in the world to figure out our potential new mains for the upcoming expansion. So today, I want to introduce you to 3 specs that I played myself and I figured are hilariously fun as well as enjoyable, which is the reason why they made today's video. By the way, if you didn't see my 8 reasons to play Survival Hunter video yet, give it a shot. I promise you will convert from your filthy BM playstyle mind. And if you enjoyed the video, or if you want to see more of those type of videos, make sure to power word pack the like button, while also blink into the channel subscription right away. Both of them are free after all. Now then, let's start with a banger. A spec I have played a lot during Season 4, and which has quickly become my favorite range spec, if not even my favorite overall. Arcane Mage. And even though you've probably seen plenty of those, let me talk to you for a second here. It is different now. For the longest time, Arcane Mage was supposed to be this weird spec that you need to have the PhD for just in order to understand the basic. Not anymore. Now even Mitch Jones will be able to play Arcane again, if you know what I mean.
I locked him actually.
I got cloned. Oh my god, I hit him hard!
For the WoW within, the Arcane Dream is in full effect, as not only did the setup rotation get slimmed down by a lot, the talent tree now makes it also very straightforward and understandable. The other fear that people had with Arcane Mage was the mana management, and I can tell you straight up, not anymore. I mean, you still can run out of mana if you rampage on your Arcane Blast like a Cataclysm player, but if you play the normal rotation, no sir. It's so simplified that not just I got the biggest joy playing it, but even viewers of mine told me that they gave Arcane a shot and really enjoyed the simplicity of it now. You legit only stack Arcane charges and then use Barrage as your spender. That is it. This is that simple because with the reworked talent tree, you got so many more options to get charges from. Being it the double proc chance from Arcane Blast, Arcane Explosion with clear casting, or even Arcane Missiles. And while we're on the topic of missiles, the arguably most engaging tier set of this expansion is now a passive. Every 4th clear cast will make you shoot so many missiles you believe you're spreading democracy in the US. Even your burn phases, boy I hate this term so much, are so much easier now. You generate so much mana with Arcane Barrage now, you can easily use both Evocation and Arcane Surge together for an insane opener without having to worry about your second DPS renew before Arcane Surge comes back up. Let me give you a very quick basic and beginner walkthrough of how this works. Your main DPS boom spell will be Touch of the Magi. 45-second cooldown that will also grant you 4 big juicy Arcane Charge stacks. This spell will charge up as you blast spells into it that will ultimately explode in the end and do big AoE. Like I'm talking hits in the millions. This means you want to be solid on mana for this DPS window, and I got the solution for that. You either pair Arcane Surge or Evocation alongside the Touch cast. Both of those got 90 seconds cooldown, so doing my Kusi math real quick, this means one of them always lines up. So the opener with Arcane Surge pretty much looks like this. You want to open with 4 charges, which means in dungeons for example, you simply press Arcane Orb into 3 targets, easy solved. Then you hit your Arcane Surge, followed by an Arcane Barrage and instantly Touch of the Magi. Keep in mind, always target the one with the biggest HP pool for that, as you want the mob to stay alive for as long as possible. The reason for the Arcane Barrage before the Touch of the Magi is, if you remember, Touch gives 4 charges. So you would just overcap it, and then you send all of the Arcane Blast you can do. In between, feel free to press Arcane Missiles whenever they proc, because they do increase Arcane Blast damage by 20%. And that is it. No more extra buttons, no more 5 global setup. That is it. Now obviously this is a raw idea of how it works, and if you use Evocation you simply replace the Arcane Surge step with it, but that is it, for real. As a beginner standpoint, this will already get you some numbers that you didn't see coming, and once you get used to it, you will understand how to weave in different spells in different situations. I'm sorry I'm rambling so much about this, but I'm so excited to tell you about the spec. The hero talents also look fantastic, specifically the Spellslinger that just has you shoot out passive damage like it's a laser gun. I'm all for it. But before I lose myself in the depths of the Arcane, let's talk about the second spec that really got me excited to log on these days. The Preservation Evoker. You heard me, we're talking healer. Now, me personally, I'm not known to play a lot of healers by all means. Hell, I only play them during my Zero to Heroes, which I also do on my channel by the way, so subscribe if you want to see that. But after playing a few of them, I can say, with all of my God-given honesty, this was the best experience I ever had. Now, do I recommend the Press Evoker for new players? No. But for healer enjoyers or even returning players, I got one thing to say. Give it a shot. This is far from your ordinary healer, as the lizards that got introduced with the Dragonflight expansion has an insane amount of utility to work around. Besides the usual things like CC with a knock-up and a knockback and sundering like displacement, we also got double jumps for you ADHD folks, heaps of jumps and dashes, and even a way to troll people just like priests can do. And after all that funny business, we actually got some nice gameplay too. Now bear with me here, cause it sounds a bit complicated first, but I promise you it's not that bad. So the first thing is we got Living Flame, very straightforward spell that does damage on enemies and heals when you target allies. Reversion is pretty much your average hot that you can put on allies for some easily ticking healing. Then we got 3 abilities that work with a really cool new playstyle that's called Empowering, but it's pretty much just charging them by keeping the button pressed. Their effect is also straightforward. While Fire Breath does damage, Dream Breath heals, and just to top it off you got a big heal in Spirit Bloom. Now here's what the charging does. Fire Breath and Dream Breath will always do the same amount of healing or damage, but the longer you charge them, the more initial impact they will have. If you just quick cast them, you get less initial, but more of a time effect on the target. Spirit Bloom works sort of the same. If you quick cast it, the entire heal value will go on one target. If you empower it, you hit more targets depending on the amount of charges, but the amount of heal will be split. I told you it's not that complicated. And now the bread and butter of this spec, Echoes. Echo is an effect that pretty much duplicates all heals to targets that are affected by it. Meaning if I put Echo on you and then use Reversion on myself, we both get the full hot value. And this works with every spell the dragon has to offer. The downside? You can't spam Echo. Well, not always, as you need 2 of those funny runes or essences as they are called. You do however have the chance to get some free cast, which is why I say, not always. But if you think you can only trigger Echo with Living Flame or Reversion, oh man, you are wrong, sister. Everything goes. If the target is affected by Echo and you send them a Dream Breath, it will duplicate the hot. If 2 targets got Echo and you give yourself a big Spirit Bloom quick cast, they also get the full value. You can also echo the party and then use Verdant Embrace, which is another big heal, do some insane healing in the process, as you can whip out some combo play alongside it. Like I said, I know this seems like a lot, but if you got a somewhat idea of how WoW works and you're not completely new, you get the hang of the basics so fast it's not even funny. And yet, even though we got a bunch of utility, some solid damage as well as some insane healing, the cooldowns, man, they are so unique. Tip of the scale makes you unleash your next channel spell instantly with the full charge. Perfect for quick AoE healing through Dream Breath or Spirit Bloom, or to dish out some mad damage with Fire Breath, which also heals when you got Life Giver's Flame skilled. Time Dilation, which is your 1 minute go-to external, is also unique, as it's not the damage reduction as you would expect, but instead absorbs 50% of the incoming damage to put a dot on the target instead. For every Brewmaster out there, it's like shuffling. In Mythic class, I found this extremely powerful at the start of the pull, as DHs, DKs, Guardians or Prot Warriors occasionally go into a pull without any resources to heal themselves. With that, you take some pressure off of them quickly. Rewind is your raid cooldown that has 100% effectiveness in non-raid environments. This pretty much rewinds time as it heals a percentage of the damage taken in the past seconds. A very ideal button for an oh shit moment where you have to catch up. Also a quite unique one. And then there's Stasis, easily my favorite. This one saves the next 3 healing spells you use and gives you a chance to unleash them all once again within 30 seconds. This can ensure you some big healing. I'm talking 0 to 100% healing with a charged Dream Breath and a Spirit Bloom. You will learn that Stasis can be used in an insane amount of ways and it's so cool. And then you also got mad defensive spells. AoE damage reduction for the party, 2 charges of 30% damage reduction on yourself, and Renewing Blaze that will heal all the damage you take during that time. And this is only the surface of what the spec has to offer. Again, I'm rambling, but what I mentioned so far is probably only around 60% of the utility and possibilities the Healing Dragon can bring to a party. The only downside, however, is the short range of spells. If you don't stand in the back of the line with everybody in front of you, things can be tricky. But you do have Rescue to make sure you get them to the position they need to be. Now, coming to the last spec of today's video, this will be a short and sweet one. We are talking Arms Warrior, and while Swifty, Sony as well as Bajira are creaming right now, let me tell you that Arms is such an insanely fun spec to play right now. After the rework that was part of the WoW within Prepatch, this one feels not only smooth, but clean and even more straightforward. Rage issues? No sir. Matter of fact, most of the time you will overcap and there's nothing you can do about it. You spam buttons like a maniac, Whirlwind is gone, as Cleave simply replaces it, which means less spells to weave in. By the way, cleave hits like a mad shot. You don't believe me? Check out this screenshot where cleave hits for 1.3 million on live. It does almost the same damage as Mortal Strike, but an AoE. Do I need to say any more? This is even without the merciless Bone Grinder talent, mind you. But it is with collateral damage in all fairness. So honestly, this is an exception. It usually crits around half the damage of Mortal Strike on my runs, which is still impressive for an AoE spell. Your cooldown windows are also very straightforward. Colossal Smash, or Warbreaker in its AoE form, is just something you press whenever it's ready, as spending Rage reduces its cooldown. Big Bleed every 45 seconds if you have the right talents, with Dragon's Roar, and 90 seconds for Avatar and Bladestorm. Oh yeah, want to hear the coolest thing? Bladestorm is useful again. The Unhinged talent is back with a vengeance, which means you also cast MS on targets while Bladestorming. And I know I just said that's the best part, but here's the actual best part about the spec. It feels good. What I mean by that is, it feels impactful when you press buttons. Hell, I had Mortal Strike crit for 1.5 million the other day, which is equal to things like Aim Shot or, well, I would say Chaos Bolt, but the structure is far away from those numbers these days. But you get what I mean. Like I said, this is a very straightforward and quickly explained spec, but I can absolutely assure you that the Arms Warrior is a certified, Kusi-approved beast that not only annihilates every cloth player in PvP, but also the average dungeon run with a smile on his face. If you're looking for a melee that is fast-paced, easily understood and mastered only with experience and not some bullshit Gen Z full rotation one button macro bullshit that even has a hybrid as a tank for the first few weeks of the expansion, then look no further and join the brutes. Anyways, this is it from me for today's video. If you're having a blast just like me during pre-patch, tell me in the comments which specs you're going for as of right now, since I'm pretty sure we all would change things down the line. For me currently, it has to be either Survival, Arcane or Arms for my DPS choices for sure. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed this video and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.